Howdy, Connection Group leaders. I'm coming to you from Pastor Eric's office because there's literally not anywhere else in the building hardly that's quiet. It's pretty amazing. There are so many people at the church today doing stuff, and it's awesome. So pray for all the different ministries that are happening right now. We are talking about 1 Kings chapter 18, and I really don't think there could possibly be something that's more pertinent for us right now. Maybe that's a bold statement, but you get what I'm saying. This is such a pertinent chapter for us to be looking at. I know it's familiar, but dive in, and hopefully I can point some stuff out to you that's helpful. For starters, just so you know, Mount Carmel's right there, pretty close to the coastline. That's our setting for today. Again, you know this story, Elijah and the prophets of Baal. It actually starts off in verse 17, just a little bit before where the lesson suggests you starts. I do like the phrase, but I think it's worth considering carefully. O troubler of Israel. That's how the conversation starts. Elijah says to Ahab, hey, I'm here. Ahab says, is that you, O troubler of Israel? And Elijah fires back, no, you're the troubler of Israel. Here's what I want to point out, because this would be very easy for us to go, see, they're the reason things are so awful in our country right now. Remember that the people that God are ultimately talking to right now are his children. He's bringing judgment upon his people, not the people that don't know him. So be real careful when you start casting aspersions towards people that don't know God, and they're the reasons why things aren't right now. Just something to keep in mind. Other stuff going on. I like the phrase limping between two opinions. Now, you know what it's like to limp. You can visualize what it looks like for someone to limp, and you also know how hard it is to decide between two things and how that makes decisions frustrating. And so he says someone who's trying to decide whether or not they want to follow the ways of the Lord, or in this case, the ways of Baal, we would simply say the ways of the world. Literally, you are limping spiritually when it comes to your walk. Again, this is very pertinent because we see lots and lots of people who are in this scenario. In fact, it's entirely possible some of us are in this scenario. All of us struggle from time to time on doing things, whether it's something I know God wants me to do or something I and my flesh want me to do or something someone else wants me to do, but we're limping spiritually when they do that. So ponder that phrase in your own life and then kick that around together as a connection group. I think that's going to be really helpful. I want you to notice that everyone's confidence in this story. Everybody thought my truth is the truth. There's zero reason why I should be concerned. When Elijah suggests this scenario, this rumble on Mount Carmel, nobody from the prophets of Baal says, I don't know, can our God do that? That seems kind of risky. Everybody said, nope, of course. Everybody thought their truth was the truth. Does that not sound like our world right now? And in case you don't think so, jump on any form of social media right now, just search any political opinion and watch the battle ensue. And everybody is convinced that they have the truth. This is what's going on in Mount Carmel. This is what's going on in our world. People are arguing over what they believe is true. This is pertinent and helpful to us. I also want you to notice how God let the crazy go on for a long time. As this situation unfolds, the Lord allows false worship to go on all day long before he acts. Is that not a sign and a pretty little picture of God's long-suffering? That's how he describes himself. We would just say his patience. But God is long-suffering towards his people. That's a good thing, by the way. That's a very good thing. But that also ought to cause us to consider how we treat other people when they say or do or believe crazy things. It doesn't mean that we don't engage them, but it does mean that we can be patient with them, and we can be patient with them because God is patient with us. And he's the one who empowers our patience towards other people. And then I want you to notice how when it says that Elijah, it actually says specifically, it's in verse 27, I'm pretty sure, that Elijah mocked the prophets of Baal. If you look at the language really careful, he never actually mocks those people individually. He instead is mocking their beliefs. Specifically, he's mocking their God, which that's perfectly fair game. He's a false god in the first place. But here's why I think this is important to bring up. As we are engaging other people when it comes to what is the truth, it's so easy to go, you're an idiot because you believe this thing. When I do that with my children, and I don't call my children idiots, but when I point out to them that they believe something that's silly, they're kind of at the age right now where even though I said that what they believe is silly, they hear me say, you're silly. Or what you believe is dumb. Daddy said I'm dumb. No, I didn't call you dumb. We have to be very, very careful with our language. We're not bending, we're not backing away from the truth. We're still pointing these things out, and we're doing so humbly. Humbly is so, so important here. We're pointing out the truth humbly before people and allowing God to do his work. But we're not actually mocking or even more so verbally attacking other people. It's not our job. There's nothing Christ-like about that whatsoever. Declaring the truth is, but not mocking other people. So catch that distinctive there. That really is important. And then also point out that Elijah was never alone in this process. Now Elijah kind of went in the arrogant side of things. There are times when we, and especially you who are teaching kids and youth, there are times when we feel alone. Like I'm not sure I'm the only believer here. We're never the only believer. It might feel like we're alone, but we're not. But there's two things always going in our favor. Number one, there are always other Christians around, whether we realize it or not. But number two, and far more importantly, the Spirit of the living God of heaven and earth is always with us. He promised this. And even if we are the actual only believer in the room, we're still not alone. Don't, by the way, use the phrase, the silent majority. I'm not sure that we were ever the majority on planet Earth, or there will ever be the majority on planet Earth. In fact, the things that Jesus taught us about the road to heaven and the road to hell, that kind of gives us an indication on where the numbers really lie. However, we're never alone. There always is somebody else around, and we've always got the Spirit of God. By the way, this is a good time, too, to point out, again, especially to you who are teaching youth and children, God doesn't get his power based on the number of people who believe in him. He's not Santa Claus, and I can't remember which Santa movie it is that brings up that distinctive, but Santa has to have enough people to believe him so his sled can fly. Whether any of us believe that he is God or not is irrelevant. He's God. Whether our peers recognize God or not is irrelevant. He is still God. Truth is still truth. No matter who believes the truth, it's still the truth. We can know and take solace and encouragement in that, regardless of how much that truth is mocked. God doesn't receive his power just because we all agree he's God. He's God. Point that out. But finally, and I do think this is pretty sweet, the last thing Elijah does, after the whole rumble in the jungle's done, then he goes up on the mountain and he prays and he asks God to make it rain again. And finally, the Lord begins to send the rain. Elijah sends word back to Ahab. Ahab, it's about to rain. Get off the mountain. He's helping Ahab, who has been worshiping a false god for a very long time. He's making sure that the king gets to safety. That's really something worth considering. He's still displaying a care for other people, even people he disagrees mortally with. That's worth considering and us pursuing. Guys, we love y'all. We'll see you soon. Pray for Sunday. It's going to be a good one.